Hi, everybody. I am here again with a new podcast episode. I have a special guest on. She is a Twitch streamer who got me into the game that we're going to be discussing. She is known as Azza the Ace, so I'm going to have her say hello.
Hey guys, good to be here. Thank you for inviting me to this podcast. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no problem. So, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the meat of the episode.
Okay, so yeah, for those who don't know, I'm Azza the Ace on Twitch. Azza Ace is fine with me. Oh, for my amazing American and Canadian friends, Azza is fine as well. I've warmed up to the to that version of my name. So yeah, I stream
Are
a
you
whole.
making fun of the way I say your
No, no,
name?
no, 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 no. Just many other of my closest American friends, they say Azza. And I don't want to correct them, but I've just warmed up to it because how they greet me. So I'm just like, oh, that is so cute. I'll allow it. But yeah, I stream
Fair
a
enough.
whole variety. I guess you could say mainly JRPGs, and I've been so glad that for the past 6 months since I've been streaming or being part of your Twitch streams with a variety of fighters such as King of Fighters 15, Tekken 7, and recently on my streams, well, for the past month or so. So, excuse me, Killer Instinct, which is the very first fighter I experienced on the Super Nintendo, and I was only 3 years old. So my gaming background is ever since I was 2 years old. So you can see I'm very passionate about video games.
Which is awesome, and your passion definitely shows through in your streams on Twitch. By the way, speaking of Tekken, real briefly, since we're
Yes,
discussing, did you
I
see the news today?
yeah, I woke up. I was scrolling for a notification on Facebook. I wish I saw it on YouTube first, and then I saw it. I was like, "Oh, there's a date! Oh my god!" And then I just like watched the video. And I'm like, "Oh, this is great. This is perfect. I love it.
Yeah,
I can't
I
wait."
watched it too. I watched it too. I loved it. I'm very excited. It's a day one purchase for me for sure.
Oh yeah,
And I'm hoping
absolutely.
that I can get a whole bunch of Twitch communities together to have a massive Tekken launch day tournament.
Yes, that would be amazing. That would be so good.
So you started playing Killer Instinct at the age of 3. How did you discover it?
Okay, so my older brother had the Super Nintendo, and I would be watching. Um, I'll be watching him play it, and I think that was around the time my sister was dating who's my brother-in-law. I don't know if I'm wording that right. Yeah, so they were playing it together. I think later when they met, but I would always be watching him play Killer Instinct, and he passed me not the controller but like the Super Nintendo's version of the arcade stick. I love it. I wish we still had it. And so he gave me a go, and wouldn't you know, a 3-year old beat the top score. And so he helped me put my name on the high school board, and obviously back then you could only do 3 letters, and so he put in AZA, and that's where my nickname came from. Like, that's the origin of Azza, and I just added the extra Z because my brother's nickname also had an extra Z in it, and I love Z's. So yeah. I have a
That's
I have a very unique industry with Killer Instinct. Industry?
that's definitely
Did I say that as
experience.
an experience?
You
Industry.
did say industry. It's fine.
My bad.
Yeah, it's fine. We all stumble over words at points.
Yeah. But yeah, a very unique, nostalgic experience in my opinion.
So,
And
since you started with the fight stick, do you think it would still hold true that you would prefer using arcade stick in fighting games now, or do you think that you've kind of gotten so used to using pad that you might not be able to transition back?
I would love to believe that I'm better on stick. But the last time I played on stick was I went to, I don't know if anywhere in other countries have it, but we have a time zone, which is like this full-on arcade area that also has laser tag. Apparently, I haven't seen it, but also they got a bunch of arcades. So when I saw that Tekken was there, Tekken 7, I believe, obviously it's the stick version, and so that was around my partner's birthday a few years back, I think. We had dinner somewhere, and then whilst we were waiting for them to be finished with drinks, we went there, and I was on my lonesome playing some Tekken 7, and I was doing really good. I just kept going, and then they arrived at the arcade, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go now." I'm like, "Oh, let me just finish this." I just kept going and going, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to force myself out."
That sounds really cool. Hopefully you'll be able to get to try out stick in the very near future.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know that I play on stick when we're playing Killer Instinct together, but that's because of a quirk of my computer.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? It only happened that one time I could hear your stick, and then for the rest of that stream, I didn't hear it at all. Like maybe at that point you had the arcade stick too close, or maybe it was before you switched from your headset to your actual mic. I think that's when we stopped hearing it anyway. So, but yeah.
For those of you wondering, when I use one of my dual senses on my computer, for whatever reason, some of the inputs just don't work. So yeah, I'm having a workaround, and it's an excuse to use my very large, very costly fight stick.
Oh, I should say though, I was looking, I don't know what I was looking up, but I guess images for my next upcoming Killer Instinct stream, and someone had, like, there was a screenshot of someone obviously using a fighter stick, and it had the buttons to select you know how I was like, oh, just press spectate. It's like, I don't know what button that is for. Apparently it labels on the bottom of your screen, but I think you said last time that there was no indication of on the bottom screen what buttons you could use, press for spectate and all that.
Yeah, because it looks like the Xbox buttons, and I have a PlayStation fight stick.
Yeah, maybe it's in the settings where you say I'm using this controller, and then it will pop up in that way. I think I remember doing when I was setting up my Xbox controller on my PC, and it had all the controller options.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm thinking of some other game, but yeah.
Either way, that's a possibility. Also, I think we were talking about this off podcast once, that the particular fight stick you had as a kid would actually be worth quite a lot of money now.
Oh yeah, that's the Super Nintendo fighter stick that I just mentioned earlier. Actually, if you look it up, what's it called? It's like Super Nintendo, and it's Super Nintendo. No, it can't be Turbo Stick, but it's it actually looks like a fighter stick, a bit small. I don't know. I don't know if it would have released in America, because the thing is, the color of the buttons were the exact same colors for the Super Nintendo controllers that are in Australia and Europe, which is the blue, red, green, yellow buttons, whereas Super Nintendo in America was different shades. Purple. Yeah, gray and purple. So yeah, I don't know if you guys had it, but I'll send you an image, and you could see just how amazing it looks. Maybe it is bigger than I think, but it was a Super Nintendo. It probably was slightly bigger than the actual console. But yeah, it looks like an arcade stick, and And yeah, I don't know if there was. I remember switches on it and buttons and all that, and I remember it being so much fun to use.
Light sticks definitely are fun to use. So, we've kind of had a little bit of a discussion about various fighting game stuff. I think it's time to move into the meat of the actual discussion, Killer Instinct.
Yeah, obviously.
Um, anyways, you've kind of discussed your history with it a little bit, so I'm going to mention mine very briefly. I actually got into it because of you, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Basically, you recommended it, and I had never experienced it on Super Nintendo, N64, or Xbox, and I didn't have a PC until very recently. So I now have a PC that I can use for gaming, and that is one of the first games I played on it.
That's awesome. So funny enough, I actually have the 2013 version, Xbox version, but I don't have an Xbox. I just bought it because I was working at a retail for a few months, and it was cheaper on a staff discount, and it came with a soundtrack. So I was like, that's mine, because there was the last copy, and I was like, whenever I'm at my partner's, I'll play it, but I've only played on it once. So
How often does the soundtrack get played?
At the time, because I hadn't, I had to change laptop, so I don't have it on my current one. But quite often, it's just such an amazing soundtrack. I'm someone who is video game soundtrack heavy. Like, I don't know the last time I actually listened to an actual, like, the current songs these days. I think the last song I've heard, it was something from the 90s, 80s, 70s.
Or maybe one of the various Sabaton songs or Ailstorm songs I send you randomly.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, back to the game. So I'm just so grateful that you wanted to collab doing this game, because I missed playing it, and I obviously didn't have anybody to really play it with. So thanks to you, I get to relive that nostalgia, and I'm just having such a blast playing it with you. Seriously, it's just, I don't like the amount of wins. I don't know if you remember, but last year we tied. I went back.
I do remember. And I also got, what was it, 3 ultra combos in a row.
Yes, that was insane, and it was your first as well. So I couldn't believe it. The fact that you kept pulling them off. True would be so proud.
Yes, he would have been. But I'm happy to play any fighting games with you because, well, I burned my editor out. He's probably gonna make a cut in about now. I think. About the fact.
But he hasn't fought me that much anyway.
No.
I think if we get like more of a group, then he might be able to ease back into it instead of versing the same people over and over again, and then just grow back into it. Because I can understand the burnout for sure.
Definitely. Also, he dunked on me, as you saw in that one video, where basically because I play like a psychopath.
Yeah. You do.
Burned him out.
when you really want the win, you can be quite aggressive. But if you know the right strategy, you could easily avoid those moments. Like the amount of times you used Lydia in Tekken 7, it did kind of frustrate me a bit because I couldn't work my way with the characters I usually use. And then I thought back, all right, there's a character I've always been interested in, probably played a couple of times. Let's see how this works. And that was Lars. And I annihilated you, and I was like, yep, this is the one, but I have to know whenever you're using Lydia.
Basically, you got to learn your matchups, folks.
Yeah.
Just like Yu-Gi-Oh! Just like any other competitive game.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of mains, who do you main in Killer Instinct, and why do you main them?
Okay, so Orchid is my main ever since the Super Nintendo version. I adore her and her personality, and her combos and the I don't know if they're called fatalities in Killer Instinct, but there is like a finishing moment kind of thing, obviously. Um,
Which I haven't experienced yet.
you have to look up at a clip because I don't know if it's the same on the 2013 version, but the Super Nintendo version, her fatality is revealing her boobs. And it makes the opponent just go nuts and falls. That's not what I'm not a fan of, but like other than that, I love her personality, her fighting style, and her look in 2013 version is one of my favorites, I think. Yes, you can use the classic skin version of her from the very first game, but the outfit she has in this current one, I adore. And I think that was the one I always relied on, but I also loved playing at Saberwolf. So that would be my second main, I believe. So I'm pretty biased when it comes to wolves. I'm a very affectionate dog person. And so when I saw Saberwolf as a kid, I just loved not just the move sets, but how he looked, and I always picked the blue lighting of his chest fur or outfit, I can't remember. Whereas like the 2013 version, I'm not so fond of. I love him. It's just, I don't know, something nostalgic I love about the original look of Saberwolf. I just adore. Do I explain who are my mains now from the 2013 version?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously Orchid's still my main, Saberwolf's still my main, but thanks to this amazing collab with you, I've managed to feel, I feel that I also main Cinder, which is one of the most hardest characters to use. Ask any Killer Instinct expert, they would say that. I believe someone in my stream actually said that too, and I was like, I know. And then somehow I'm just getting good at him, whereas Super Nintendo version, he was insanely hard to nail all the combos. But I love how I can play as him now. And then what else was surprised with?
Why did you start using Cinder in the 2013 version?
When we collabed. So a month ago or so.
But what was the particular reasoning behind trying him out?
I always liked Blue Flames. No, I always knew he was kind of an interesting character. His personality is so much better in the 2013 version, but what can you do? Games in the 90s, or the very beginning of video games up until maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, there's no voice, so you can't tell a character's personality. But the personality in the 2013 version for Cinder is so good. I love it. And there was a line that he said when I used him. I think it was "You're gonna hurt today." That was when I think it was when I defeated Lily Dagger. And I said, oh, that's pretty funny. But I'm not going to say I main this next character, but I loved playing as him. And at the same time, I don't know why I regret it. I just do for like a millisecond that I regret introducing you to TJ Combo.
Yeah, I can understand why, because he plays so much like my King of Fighters main, Vanessa, which is actually why I burnt my editor out so much.
Oh man, if we got him into like Killer Instinct and then you just don't tell him about TJ Combo and he's fighting against you, and then he you basically weird. He just like, I'm done. I'm experiencing deja vu right now.
Well, he will know now because he's going to be editing
I'm
this one.
sorry. I love and appreciate you. But another one I started getting really good at is Riptor. She is a character I did not expect to get good at.
I really like using her.
Yeah, like for Reptile, I didn't think she would like her reaches would actually reach, but I guess her kicks are her main advantages.
Offensive option.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And the tail as well.
Yes. There's a character I would love to improve with, and that is Spinal. Spinal's a really good character. Like
I like using him as well.
It's probably why he was he wasn't the box art cover for the Super Nintendo version, but for those who are lucky, and I think I still have it, I still yet need to find it, but ours came with a free copy of the soundtrack, the Super Nintendo version, and I played that one to death because it's so good. I actually have on my laptop right now, and yeah, it's so good. Anyway, Spinal is on that cover, and I believe he is one of the favorites of the series.
Well, it is a super metal looking aesthetic.
True.
And the soundtrack does have a lot of metal music. Speaking of the soundtrack, which do you prefer, the original Super Nintendo version or the 2013 version?
That's a tough one. Okay, when it comes to that amazing, well, it wouldn't be an actual electric guitar back then, but that kind of that sounds like it's electric guitar. Those songs in the Super Nintendo version, they I think for nostalgic purposes, maybe the Super Nintendo version is my favorite, but there are quite a few tracks on the 2013 version that actually are amazing too. Like TJ Combo's theme is pretty great. I mentioned that in the stream. I do like Orchid's theme as well. I think I really haven't paid much attention to it all that much when I'm actually fighting, but whenever I'm watching you and someone else versus each other, I'm always just jamming into the music. But yeah, I'm gonna have to say the Super Nintendo version. Like if you listen to the tracks, just the second that you turn the game on, you have that eerie music happening, and it just it sends chills and goosebumps on your skin, and then as soon as that like electric guitar comes in, you're just like headbang and just like, yeah, I'm in this zone, I'm in this aura, let's play. Like it's so good.
I have noticed that when I'm playing, just like you said, I don't really notice the music, but then when I am in the lobby and just kind of waiting, I really notice the music and I really enjoy it.
It's so good. Like I to be honest, I think maybe it was probably the best 90s video game music out of every fighter that existed at that time. I think it was one of the best soundtracks, in my opinion anyway. But since then, like, I feel the Tekken series have really stepped up their game with their soundtracks. What else?
I feel like the King of Fighters and Gauro have really amazing soundtracks.
Yeah. I don't know much on their soundtracks, but yeah, from what I've heard with every other fighter soundtracks, I just think Yeah, Tekken's definitely stepped up in the soundtrack side of things, but Killer Instinct just goes all out, and you
It's
can't.
very solid.
Yeah, yeah. And you just can't help but smile every time you hear a track.
I know what you mean. The main theme always gets stuck in my head when I hear it.
Oh, so that's it. Like as I was saying, that main theme plays as you turn on the Super Nintendo version, and it's just like, let's go.
So since the 2013 version is getting an update, do you think that indicates Microsoft really wants to focus on Killer Instinct going forward?
I believe so, and thanks to my partner over the weekend, he actually reminded me to bring this up in the podcast. Did you see the post Ed Boon posted on X?
No, I did not.
So basically, he made this poll that says, let me see if I can
Bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up. So essentially, he was like, which fighter series deserves a return? I think it was the question. And the majority votes were Killer Instinct.
I can understand why, because Killer Instinct is probably amongst the most fun I've ever had in fighting games,
Oh,
though I
yeah.
would say Dead or Alive 5 Last Round. That one probably is some of the most fun I've had in fighting games because that was the first fighting game I got into.
Yeah, I think that was like second. That came second. How long do I have to go? Oh wait.
Which, by the way, Dead or Alive, it looks like it's going to have a reboot soon. I will have a
Oh.
card popping up around now to the podcast I've done regarding that. So go and check that out if you guys are interested. If not, no worries.
Okay, I don't see the original tweet, but he actually did an update tweet posting a screenshot of that first tweet. So he's like, which
Could you
fight?
send that to me, please?
Yeah. I can send that to you now. So he's
Thank
like,
you.
which fighting game has been away too long and needs to come back? So Dead or Alive had 16%. Killer Instinct had 45%. Soul Calibur had 28%. And Virtua Fighter had 11%.
All games that I really want to see return in various forms.
Yeah.
Do you have experiences with any of those other fighting games beyond Killer Instinct, obviously?
Sorry, what was that?
I was saying all fighting games I want to return long term. I was saying, do you have any experience with any of them beyond Killer Instinct?
Part of me wants to believe I have experienced and played Dead or Alive, but Soul Calibur, absolutely, definitely. Virtua Fighter, I don't think so. I'm probably confused with the fact that I used to watch this, this show from America. It was on a cable channel. It was called WCG's
Video game.
Yeah, WCG.
Oh,
Yeah, WCG's Ultimate Gamer, and it was like a combination of all these real life challenges based on video games, and then to find out who's up for elimination, they played the game they're going to play, of that week, and then whoever is low on whoever two is lowest on the scoreboard, they have to go up against each other at Samsung Stadium, if it's still called that, and verse each other in that game or something equivalent. I don't know why they do that. They should just focus on the game for that they're doing for that episode. And that was a fun show. They had 2 seasons, I believe. And
I was confusing it with a different cable show that I used to watch.
Okay. But yeah,
I was going to say Video Game and Arcade Top 10. It was a Canadian-based show. Actually filmed very close to where I live, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
And basically, they would cover, like, the video game news of the week, and then they would also have, like, various video game contests and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Nice. And so like the winner of that show actually was got to take part for the actual WCG championships, like national, like the entire world, versus the entire world with any game basically. But yeah, so Virtua Fighter was the first. Well, it's not the first, but one of the games they featured was Virtua Fighter, and so I was like, might have played it. I don't know. But yeah, I've definitely experienced heavily with Killer Instinct, Tekken, Soul Calibur, a tiny bit of Street Fighter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I played Dead or Alive.
You know, if you ever play any of the Yakuza games, you can actually play some of the older Virtua Fighter games through that.
Oh, okay. Oh, I've played Blaze Blue. I don't know which one, but I've played Blaze Blue.
There's too many of them.
Yeah, I think the one that came out in 2009, 2010.
So one of the first ones then.
Oh, I guess so. Wow, this. Wow, I'm so out of the loop.
Yeah, that would have been one of the earlier Blaze Blue games. I've only played Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, and I quite liked that one.
I just noticed a comment that Ed Boon said with that tweet. He's like, Caliber Instinct.
I noticed that.
But like, it's weird because Soul Calibur did get 28%, and Killer Instinct was 45%, which like pretty much almost doubled that. But yeah, I'm not surprised those are the two. They are pretty amazing fun games. Yeah.
I'm actually hearing rumors that Soul Calibur 7 is going to get announced in the very near future, so...
Okay.
That's something.
Yes, so many fighters. So many fighters like that are coming out and announced.
Yep. Which is why I'm going to be making a video after we get done with this podcast on Welcome to the Silver Age of Fighting Games.
Nice. Love that.
So, what are some things you're really hoping for in a sequel to 2013's Killer Instinct?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Basically, what's your wish list for the sequel to Killer Instinct 2013?
Okay. What I wish for? Story. So, if anyone knows me and watches my streams, I mention every now and again, probably most of the time, how much I love, when it comes to video games, story-oriented, story-heavy. I love. I just love that kind of narrative, and what Killer Instinct kind of had was like a story mode when you select a character, you see their bit of info and info after they win the tournament. Is Killer Instinct a tournament? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is a tournament.
Anyway, so what I liked about the Super Nintendo version was basically that, but also back when video games had, what do you call it?
Arcade ladders.
Manuals. Yeah, in the game cases, it had like each page had what am I trying to say? They solely have each page for that character and their information. I just love reading the heck out of that. Just reading their bios, where they came from, what are they, how they
their backgrounds.
Yeah, and how they are involved with I forgot what the company's called. Anyway, so, and then with the 2013 version, it just didn't really have a story. We had this like shadows mode, and I just couldn't really get into it, which was a shame because like I normally get into anything fighters regardless. But yeah, if we can have something a bit more story oriented, how Tekken does it, how who else does it? There's a bunch of other fighters that do some like story involved content. So That is
Mortal Kombat is
Oh, Mortal
very
Kombat.
story
Sorry,
heavy.
yeah, sorry. I thought I was forgetting something. I was like, wait, did I made up two, or am I thinking of something else? Yes, Mortal Kombat. I love the story, and the story that's going to be coming with Mortal Kombat 1 looks sick. Like, I'm so looking forward to it. But that won't
I will
be.
I will I will pick that game up eventually.
Yeah, same here.
Who is your main in Mortal Kombat, by the way?
Jade. So she's
Nice.
so when I first saw her in I don't know which Mortal Kombat game it was, but she gave me Orchid vibes, and I loved that. So
I can see it.
yeah, so when I started playing as her, she played a bit different, but she was exactly like Orchid, and then I just simply fell in love with Jade. I couldn't really warm up to her design in the last game though. I feel like she didn't even look like Jade. I feel like she looks like someone else, and I'm hoping that if she is in Mortal Kombat 1, that she's actually back into looking at her old roots. Just I love that long hair she had, and I loved her facial features in previous games, whereas Mortal Kombat 11, I don't know, it didn't feel and look like her.
I feel like a lot of characters just didn't look or feel right in Mortal Kombat 11 for whatever reason.
Oh, by the way, I saw the new trailer for Mortal Kombat 1, and they showed Sindel, and I'm like, whoa, like,
I haven't seen it yet,
yeah, you have
but
to.
I have seen the new Johnny Cage gameplay, which makes me happy because I'm a Johnny Cage player.
Oh, okay. All right.
That doesn't surprise you at all, does it?
No, not really.
I've actually been told by quite a few people that I need to do old man Johnny Cage cosplays.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's doable.
Also, let's face it, my jokes are as bad as Johnny's.
Yeah, yeah. No comment.
Yeah, go ahead. You can dunk on me. I don't care.
Well, to tell you the truth, my energy is like so low right now, so I can't even compare right now. Like, it's probably same wavelength. Maybe his is a bit better. I don't know. There's moments. Let's just say.
Yeah, I'm very punny.
Yeah, you are.
So, getting back to Killer Instinct
yeah.
wish list.
I don't know if there was anything else in particular. Story mode is like my main wish.
Definitely. Also, I would love to see kind of something similar to what Street Fighter 6 did, and have like kind of an adventure story mode, because I think that could be really cool,
Yeah.
given
I
the
like
Killer
that.
Instinct world oozes so much personality, and I think it would be fun to just walk around those environments. Even if you're not actively engaging in the gameplay, that would be a lot of fun to me.
Yeah. I guess you could also say, but with this 2013 update, like, you might as well assume that after this, when they do a newer game, that they do this anyway, but better matchmaking matchmaking has to be fixed for good.
Supposedly they will be fixing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
With this update that's rolling out at some point in the near future.
Yes, and I'm so happy with that. Like,
Same.
guys, if you haven't watched my streams, you will know how much difficulty and time was wasted just trying to make a room for two or three specific people without randoms joining in.
And it comes down to the fact that it was just jank design.
Yeah. So, being so intelligent, I was like, you know what? I'll make this lobby. I'll make it for this specific amount of people, and let's do this lobby name, because I bet you it will not be used. Like no one uses this. And then, so when like you or someone else was join, but I was waiting for you or someone else to join, I was freaking out that someone somehow would pick that lobby name, and I would be freaking out because our match was be starting whilst the other one was still loading in. And then as soon as the match ended, the other one ended up joining in. I'm like, yes, it worked. I did a thing.
It was so good when that actually happened. I would love to see that. I'd also love to see just more game modes in general.
Yes, yeah, that'd be so much fun. I feel
Like
like
I think that it would be really cool to do like a something similar to what King of Fighters does because you haven't experienced it, but if you get 6 players, you can do 2 teams and each one has 3 characters, and then do an elimination match that way.
that would be awesome.
That's something I'd love to see more fighters do because I think that would be just such a fun way to keep everyone who's playing engaged. You know what I mean? Because then
Yeah,
you're not waiting around oodles and oodles of time for your match to start.
yeah, exactly.
I'd also love to see, time attack, survival mode, uh, arcade ladder, the basic fighting game stuff that used to
I feel
ship on
like
products because they've actually removed that from most modern fighting games.
I feel like they had one of those. Like Killer Instinct actually has one of those in the menu list. We just don't see it because we're trying to join a lobby. I can't remember
It
though.
probably it probably does, but I'm just pointing it out because that's one of my bugbears with modern fighting games.
Ah, I
The fact
see.
that they've basically gutted a lot of the experience and just made them online shells. And I hate that they are making fighting games online shells and basically not really focusing on the single player content in any way, shape, or form. And if they
Ah,
do, it's basically just oh yeah, here's a basic gauntlet of PC based fighters. Have fun.
yeah, yeah, I
That
can
is
agree.
actually one of my that is actually one of my big complaints with the King of Fighters 15. But
Uh,
speaking of that, I would really love to see a Killer Instinct sequel bring in the jukebox feature from the King of Fighters 15. I know it's kind of there in the 2013 reboot, but I think it would be really cool to be able to completely customize the soundtrack to your liking and also have access to the Super Nintendo, N64, and the 2013 version all in one game, plus whatever new songs they
that
wind up including in the next game.
you just made my heart flutter. I would love that. I would seriously love it because as you know, I love video game soundtracks. I have more of them than I do with any other CD or album. But yeah, that would be amazing. I love when games actually bring their original stuff into some shape or form as a nostalgic, let's go down memory lane. This is why you love the series so much. I love when they do that.
I love that too, and I've actually been playing Trails into Reverie lately.
I would love to get into that. I just have to play the first game first, and I will, Lefa.
Well,
I
I
will.
well, I did get you that game for
I,
Christmas
I
last
know.
year.
Well, I thought that was King of Fighters. God, you do so much for me, and I feel so bad.
And it was basically an easy case because both were on sale at the time, and it was basically just the price of one game.
True, true. But I will say though, I do have an idea when, like, because I did say I would play it this year, but I think I have a better mindset of when I should do it, and
When's that?
it would have to be when I reach a certain goal. And no, it's not the goal that I'm trying to reach right now. It's actually the goal that I'll be announcing once I reach 400 will be half of what this other goal I have in mind, which would feature me playing the very first one.
Which I'm very much looking forward to your playing that. But anyways,
Yes, sorry, we keep
Trails into Reverie.
sidetracking.
No, it's fine. Trails into Reverie. One thing that I really love is I'm actually hearing a lot of familiar songs, but they've been remixed or they've been incorporated into entirely new tracks, and I'm like Loving that.
I love that. I love when as you know, I've been playing Trials of Mana, which is my favorite Mana game, and basically when they remade it, I was so happy. And one of their features was you could either listen to the original or the remastered, and I've always tried to, like, one of the playthroughs I would try to just have it listening to the original, but since I at that time recently finished the original version like a week or days before the remake version came out, I was like, I've listened to the original enough. I want to listen to the remake stuff. And that's how I would feel when I end up streaming the remake version of Trials of Mana as well. So yeah, I love when games just like gives you that option, because I know some people are not fan of modern versions of games that get remade, but I like both.
I agree with you, and I'll say this: when I'm playing the Spyro Reignited trilogy, I'm actually almost always going for the original version, because I actually am not a big fan of the dynamic pieces that they changed up for like when you're actually charging and stuff in the Spyro Reignited trilogy, because it just sounds so thin and tinny.
Yeah.
Whereas there was actual bass and resonance to the sounds when you played the original, so I actually prefer Stuart Copeland's original arrangement. Word. You know what I meant.
Yeah,
though.
yes,
like
yes, yes, yes,
versions.
yes.
Arrangements. That's what I was trying to say.
Hey, I said industries experience earlier in this podcast, so I feel you're stuttering.
Yep. But those are some things that I would definitely like to see in a Killer Instinct sequel. I'd also really like to see in your lobby system custom rule sets. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, that would be good. That would be fun as well. Like changing things up a bit. Normally, I don't. When I have played certain fighters that do have that type of mode thing, I don't normally have those kind of custom set modes on. But it's good to experience that every now and then.
Definitely. I'd also like to see them do online training lobbies, because that's something that the King of Fighters 15 did. Probably not the first time it was introduced, but it was my first actual experience with it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that is noteworthy to me, because it's such a nice feature, because if you're playing with a newbie, you can actually go into training mode with them and actually show them the inputs and how to do things specifically, because it'll show on screen the inputs you're doing. And you can also, in a no-stakes situation, teach them how to block certain moves, how to do specific moves with the character, and so much more. It's just, yes, that is a nice feature.
Wow, that's mad. I didn't know about that. That's cool.
Yeah. What are some other like small things you'd like to see incorporated into the game?
I'm really trying to think. I'm trying to think if they actually cut off certain characters from the original version. But I think they're all there, because the very first game only had 13 characters, I think, and one of them wasn't playable. So yeah, you had Orchid.
I know a lot of the
Sable.
characters from Killer Instinct 2 were not available in the reboot.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Are you not a big fan of Killer Instinct 2?
Okay. I've played it on the 64 once before. I don't know when, but maybe it's because it was the Nintendo 64 controller, but I just found the whole character designs for all of them and the backgrounds, I just couldn't. I feel like they all melded in together, and I just feel like there was nothing. Well, at the time, of course, it wouldn't be nostalgic, but I feel like it wasn't the same as what the first game was, and whereas the 2013 version actually made that feel like it was like it brought that back for me, like that it's like the very first game, and I loved that so much. It brought back the like variety of colors into the characters, their personalities. The stages look incredible, and unique as well. Whereas, yeah, as I said, Killer Instinct 2 just looked, everything looked, all of them looked yellow, gold per se. I think they really heavily input gold when it came to Killer Instinct 2.
I'm giving my editor permission to insert an Austin Powers Gold member reference here because it's just too perfect not to.
All right.
But one common complaint with Killer Instinct 2 was the fact that it basically ditched almost all of the characters from the first game.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah.
Time travel.
I forgot about that.
Back.
See, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a sequel. It didn't feel like yeah, some bits and pieces felt like Killer Instinct game, but to me, it just didn't feel like a Killer Instinct game. And so, for me, anyway, I feel the 2013 version of Killer Instinct is the true sequel to the first one, and it's like they went back to their old roots and be like, "Yep, this is what people love."
I have to ask, what are some things you don't like about the 2013 version beyond the lobby system?
There's no story. I don't count that shadow mode thing a story. Like, yeah, there's some story background and stuff, but like it's hard to get into the story when like you're pretty much doing the same thing over and over again to unlock the shadow characters and whatnot. You just couldn't connect yourself or feel like you want to do that mode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was one thing I was a bit disappointed about. And I think that's it. Not too much to complain about, but yeah, story was the main issue, like the fact there wasn't any.
Mm-hmm. I would have liked to see more characters, but I can understand why it has a smaller roster because 2013 was a very different time and rosters were just smaller in general.
True. However, I think with the shadow mode, you do unlock shadow versions of those characters. So that added up the complete roster. But because neither you or I have done it, we haven't unlocked them. At least that's, that is how it works. But anyway.
I'll have to give it a try sometime just to see if I like the shadow variants.
Yeah, let me know if you do or not.
I definitely will. So I think that we have basically covered everything. Where can people find you, and is there anything else you kind of want to say or mention?
Okay, so you guys can find me on Twitch as the Ace. The A's in Azza and A are capitalized, just not the A at the end of Azza. I'm sure you're gonna put a link on the screen right now. I'm also as the Ace on X. I laugh every time I say it. And I do have a YouTube channel, but I haven't been uploading my streams on there, so don't worry about that. And what was the other questions? Any info? Not try to promote myself or anything, but I am at this moment 6 followers away to 400, and I have a special announcement when that happens. So if you like JRPGs such as Eddie Final Fantasy series, Kingdom Hearts series, The World Ends With You series, Legend of Zelda series, Fire Emblem series, or you just also like to see me collab with Leafa, that's what I do. And if you like what you hear, just be sure to hit that follow button. I don't know what else to say.
Well, I have to say thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I think that we should do some podcasts more often.
No worries. I'm glad you invited me to this particular topic, and I look forward to any future podcasts. I'm sure they will be exciting for sure.
I agree. So that's it, guys. Thank you, Azza the Ace, for coming on. If you liked this video, don't forget to give the like button a smash. Also hit the subscribe button, comment, and if you want to, you can join my Discord, you can check out my Twitch. Links for those will be in the description. And until next time, keep blazing that trail.